This is our root rinse project that we started in May 23rd. This was planted out, and we have a Chrysopsis scabrella, coastal plain golden aster that was root rinsed. Another one here, and then there was a plot planted one. You can still see the dead remnants. This has not come back, and again, that one was not root rinsed. And then this one here is Rudbeckia mollis, soft hair coneflower, which is an annual that needs to reseed in order to persist. These Garbaria were planted last year, so they've been in the ground a year. This was the slowest one to get growing. It was root rinsed as well. Pineland heliotrope was root rinsed again in May 23rd. Rattlesnake master, May 23rd. We showed you the video of us preparing that one for planting. These are Asclepias tuberosa var. Rolfsii that were planted a couple of months ago, also a little bit after the May planting. It's another Garbaria that we root rinsed last year. That was a 1 gallon specimen. You can see it's massive in just 1 year. We have a ovate leaf Indian plantain. I think these are Piney Woods drop seed. These are all lopsided Indian grass, Sorghastrum secundum. There's a muley here and a muley there. You can see the muleys starting to bloom here in summer. Typically fall is more their peak bloom time. Over here, the Penstemon multiflorus, many flower beard tongue, has bloomed and producing seeds, and it's thriving. This was root rinsed as well. Everything here was root rinsed. Over here we have a 1 gallon specimen of spotted bee balm, Monarda punctata, and you can see it is about 6 feet wide. Again, root rinsed. This is wand goldenrod. This was planted in May as well. We have a starry rosin flower here that we added in May as well. This camphor weed is just starting to get going. The partridge pea has bloomed and seeded, I think. And then we added a grass leaf coneflower, Rudbeckia hirta var. Floridana. And this is a hog plum, which the bunnies tore it up, so we had to put a cage on it to keep it from continuing to get destroyed. We added a false indigo here. This is woodland poppy mallow. There's a red mulberry here. Seaside goldenrod. Lanceleaf tickseed, Coreopsis lanceolata. We have a butterfly sage, Vervonia globosa. This is a tetrazygia, which produces some edible fruit. It's a native shrub here in Florida. Look at the liatris. I think this is Gracilis. And then there's a Florida paintbrush next to it. And St. Andrew's cross, Hypericum hypercoides, which is lovely and blooming now. And over here we added some more Piney Woods drop seeds, some Conradina grandiflora, large flower false rosemary. This is a whole row of lopsided Indian grass. And pineapples, non-native. And here we have white stopper, Eugenia albiflora, more lopsided Indian grass. And then back here we have another Piney Woods drop seed, Junceus sporolobus. In a pot here, there's a fiddlewood. There is a wild alamanda, which hosts the polka dot wasp moth. Here we added some eastern smoothleaf aster and some more Florida paintbrush. And then over here we removed a crepe myrtle, it was really big, and put in a firebush, which will ultimately fill that space nicely. And there's a button sage here, Lantana involucrata. So here we are, it's July 16th. We're doing a little follow-up video where we did do a control that was just plot planted, where we just, took the whole potting soil and everything and plopped that into the ground. And that is our only casualty. To me, that's pretty telling evidence, even though it's not necessarily a large sample. So this one was root rinsed, this one was root rinsed. You can see lots of new growth on these. This is a different species, Rudbeckia mollis, soft hair coneflower. It was root rinsed. So Pineland heliotrope that we have here, you can see, is already doing established spreading things 1 month later. Rattlesnake master, it's still hanging in there, it's still alive. We have another Chrysopsis scabrella. Coastal plain golden aster, I think, is its common name. Chrysopsis scabrella is definitely its name. We also planted all these grasses about 9-10 months ago. They're blooming, thriving. Ovate leaf Indian plantain. I mean, this was a 4-inch pot from USF Botanical Garden, a little itty bitty sprout when we first planted it. These Garbaria, they bloomed the first month we planted them. This one has already bloomed once this year. Here it is going to seed down here. We added some many flower beard tongue here, Penstoma multiflora. We added some wand or slender goldenrod, Solidago stricta. We added starry rosin flower, Silphium asteriscus. And we've had a lot of prairie marsh rabbit and squirrel pressures nibbling on plants throughout this landscape. And still, plants mostly hanging in there. The Asclepias tuberosa var Wolfsia, or var 2, not entirely sure. I think this one might be a var 2 here. So we had that one little baby, if you can recall, that was looking like it was going to die. And even that one has hung in there. We've had zero attrition. Again, all bare root transplanted. And that plant in particular was not even, the one that we lost, the Chrysopsis scabrella, was not even particularly root bound in the pot. So it certainly wasn't that the roots were bound up in terms of why we had attrition there. And everything out here has been getting the same watering cycles, hand watered. There is no irrigation system. So out of the 4 we planted, only the plot planted one did we lose. And over here, we lost